7 days ago, I talked about a Baikal miner that I had picked up off of eBay to add to my other Baikal that I've been mining with. And today I'm going to do a recap of solo mining results for the past 7 days. So over the past 7 days, I've been solo mining Groestlcoin to my own node on my own network. So everything's been on the local network. I'm running the node, I'm running a mining pool, so I'm using NOMP for this. And you can see I've been mining this, and when I did that video, we already had 2 blocks. So in the past 7 days, we've hit 15 blocks. You can see currently my effective hash rate is around 41.27 gigahash. And this is a combination of a BK-G28, which gets around 28 gigahash, and the BK-X which gets around 10.8. So what we're expecting is around that 38 to 39 gigahash effective, and that's kind of what we've been seeing. Now, if we hop on over to what to mine, let's take a look at what that calculator would be. So we've got our 2 units. This is my G28, which is averaging about 28.38 gigahash. And this is my X10, which is averaging around 10.81. So from a hash rate perspective, everything has been on par. There has been 0 downtime for these miners, and so it's been looking really good. And so let's hop back on over to what to mine. If we plug in 39.2, we're using about 600 watts total across all units. I've got an electrical cost of 5 cents. Now, normally I do current and current here, but because we're looking at the past 7 days, I'm going to take the average block reward over the past 7 days and the average difficulty over the past 7 days. Let's hit calculate. We can see we should have earned, if we were pool mining, on average we should have earned around 52.6 coins, which would have been $26, $5 cost. Should have looked about $21 in revenue in Groestlcoin. However, we actually hit 15 blocks, and each of those blocks is 5 coins. So if we actually hop over here, you can see the block reward is 5. So that means we actually got 75 coins instead of 52. That's almost 30% more than what we were expected to get. Now, if we take a look at Groestlcoin, it's currently trading about 50 cents. It's up a little bit today. And if we plug in, let's just give this a refresh here. And if we plug in 75 coins, it's actually $37.51. So what our projected would have been $26. So instead of $26, we actually got $37. So quite a bit more just solo mining. Obviously, this is a relatively small test to only a span of 7 days. But in my experience, solo mining Groestlcoin has been spectacular over the past couple years. So if we hop on over and we take a look at kind of what that would mean on a daily standpoint, we're earning about $5.34 a day, where our expected was $3.75. So again, a little bit more, getting those blocks pretty consistent. They're not going to be super frequent because the hash rate on the network is a little bit high, but the hash rate doesn't change much because the Baikal miners are really the only miners out that can do Groestlcoin. And it has been that way since 2018. So you can see we get a relatively steady hash rate. And if we scroll down to hash rate history, and we pull this up, you can see it has stayed pretty much relatively the same for the most part, like average wise, all the way back to May of 2022. We did have some higher spikes here in the network hash rate, where it went all the way up to 103 terahash, but we haven't seen that in several years. For the most part, this is kind of what we're looking at. And the nice thing about these ASICs is they can mine multiple algorithms. So if back then, basically everything was on Groestlcoin. All the hardware created by Baikal was on Groestlcoin. Now people are spreading out. Some people have their hardware on Digibyte, some have it on Groestlcoin, some have it on Myriad. It's spread across a bunch of different coins now. And what that's resulted in is, instead of that hash rate being, above 100 terahash, we're sitting right around that 30 terahash mark on average. And like I said, it's been this way for several years now, which is nice to see. It's everything's looking good with this. It is on CoinEx, so it is listed on a premier exchange. It's also on Mining Dutch. So you can, in fact, Mining Dutch is kind of the number one pool for this. When I'm not solo mining, I have it on Mining Dutch and auto converting to all the various currencies I want to hold. It's also on Zergpool and Zpool. So you got tons of auto conversion pool options with these ASICs that we have as well. So basically what I'm doing is, we can just give this a refresh, and you can see it's my effective is dropped down to about 36. This will fluctuate between 30 and 50, but we are getting those blocks, which are the important part of 0 orphan blocks, which is great to see. And so I kind of have a set goal of what I want to hold in Groestlcoin, working to getting to that point, and then I'm probably going to switch most of it back over to Mining Dutch and let it diversify across various coins. So that is my plan with these Baikal miners. So I'd like to get more in the future if I can. However, I'm not going to overpay for these machines. Going into the bull run, we'll see, how the rest of the market does. Maybe I can pick up some more going into the next bear run. Nice thing about these ASICs is the G28 has never been unprofitable since it released at my power rate. So something to keep in mind. They're somewhat scarce to find. The X10s are a little bit easier. The G28s you had to buy in a batch of 100, I believe, was the minimum quantity when they first released. So that was, upwards of 200 grand for a minimum order of those ASICs. So, and the farms that have them, essentially, when you're dealing in that quantity, they're only bought by large farms. Those farms aren't really selling them off. They get sold off here and there, as smaller farms go out of business, things like that, or decide to pivot. But for the most part, because they've always been profitable, there's not a lot on the secondhand market, and the ones that are several $1,000s. So we will continue to keep an eye for more units, but in the meantime, most likely through the rest of the bull market, I will be running these two, and maybe, I might take one and third on Mining Dutch. I might continue to solo mine with another one. I still haven't decided what we're going to do with that forward, but I just kind of wanted to put out a 7-day results video so you guys kind of understood what we're looking at here, what that profitability kind of looks like. The other thing we can do is we can hop on over to ASIC miner value. This will show you how off their calculators are. So if we switch to Baikal and we take a look, at first glance they say the G28 is a negative $1.47, and that's at 5 cents kilowatt hour. Obviously we proved that's wrong. And the same thing with the BK-X, which is the X10. They say it's negative 72. But if we drill into this and we come down to Groestlcoin, they're saying 28 gigahash, 450 watts is only making 48 cents a day profit. And they're saying the X10 only makes 11 cents. So according to their calculators, I should only be making 60 cents a day at 5 cents a kilowatt hour. But if we hop back on over to what to mine, we can see their calculator has it at about $21 a day. But we actually made, let's hop back on over to, so we did $37.45. So we actually made about $32. Yeah, 504. So we actually profited $32 in the week. Divide that by 7. It's $4.57 a day is actually what we're profiting, which is $4 more than what they said. They basically said we should only be profiting, 50 to 60 cents. So be cautious with online calculators and always take a look at your hash rates. Kind of see where the network's sitting. You can see there's 36 terahash. We threw 39 gigahash at it, and we hit blocks consistently. That's kind of the ratio I like to be sitting at. If there's a gigahash on the network, I like to have a mega hash on the network if I'm going to be solo mining it. Anything less, it really depends. If you're willing to play the long game, then definitely solo mine as much as you can. If you're looking for those more frequent payouts, then you might want to pool mine. But that's kind of the ratio that I look for when I'm deciding whether to solo mine or not.